Hi everyone. Before I begin with this video, I usually write the script of the video and then I practice it, and after that I record. I speak it out, look at the script from time to time just to remember what I'm going to talk about or to have a tight chain of ideas connected together. But in today's video, I just wrote the main headlines or the main titles or the points I'm going to discuss, because it's been a lot of things going on here in my head, and I thought writing it would take a long time and I wouldn't actually be able to express my ideas the way I want to do that. So this point was important to clarify before I began with the video. Today's video, I'm going to talk about something that a lot of teachers find difficult, or let's say have some kind of feeling about being mistreated or some kind of injustice when dealing with students. And it's actually something that language courses and language schools, most of them do. Yeah, there are a lot of courses or a lot of managers who own their own courses, and with time they work on these points, they fill in the blanks, and that's great. You can always find good people who really pay attention to their job and who really deal with teachers as people who provide not only good service, but they are also looked at as human beings, as people who should be given another chance. So this clarification was important. Now, the thing is, the first point I would like to talk about or mention is the soft feedback, which is something I have already discussed, I've already talked about. You can check it from the link here. So I'm not going to discuss it again, but just to highlight the main points. It's using the feedback from the students to work on and then try to design the lesson in a way which is accepted by the student. So using the student's own opinion. But the thing is, the soft feedback actually starts from the moment the very first lesson starts. When we introduce ourselves to the students, when we talk with the students, when we listen to them, what they like, what they don't like, and that's why it's called introductory lesson. The very first lesson is an introductory lesson. We get to know each others, and after that we start using what the students told us during the first lesson. But the problem is that sometimes the first lesson is usually the last lesson. Why? For the reasons I'm going to mention now, or at least some of these reasons. To set a starting point or starting line, language courses should be very clear when they sign a contract with a company or with a student who want to improve or who want to study the language or improve their language. And there are actually five main points. The first point is a non-native speaker doesn't mean a speaker of the country or a native speaker of the country where the course is located. Now, what does that mean in English? Let's take an example, Germany, for example, or Spain. I like Mediterranean countries more. Let's take Spain, for example. A non-native English speaker doesn't mean a Spanish native speaker or a Spanish speaker. There might be people from other countries, not from Spain, people who don't speak Spanish, but who want to teach English or to teach Italian or whatever language. For example, Some people want or feel more comfortable when they study with, of course, we are still in Spain. Some people feel more comfortable when they study the language with a Spanish speaker, someone who speaks Spanish. And that point should be clarified very well in the very beginning of the lesson, or even before the lesson starts. The student should be informed in advance that you're going to have a lesson with a person who doesn't speak Spanish if you're in Spain, or German if you're in Germany, or Italian if you're in Italy, or etc. Don't make it a surprise. So the student comes and, surprise, I don't speak your mother tongue. Sorry, I don't do that. This would result in the future into negative feedback for the teacher, who will not only lose the project, but also this would count as negative feedback and of course would affect the teacher's rating. The second point is the student should know in advance what they want. When you want to study any language, you should know that studying a language isn't only about speaking, isn't only about reading, isn't only about listening. Studying a language is a combination of all of those. And I'm sure many people or many teachers have been in this situation when they see a student, or when they start a project or a lesson with a student, and the student says, I don't like grammar. I'm here just to speak. I need to speak because I'm participating in a conference and I need to work on my speaking skills. It's good. Speaking is good. But studying a language isn't only about speaking. If you don't know vocabulary, if you don't know the grammar, how are you supposed to produce the language? How are you supposed to speak the language? So let me tell you something. When you come to the lesson, we aren't here to speak about your ex-husband or your ex-wife. You are not here to talk about only the weather. You are not here to talk about your classmate who was very ugly and who very ugly and short and fat, and now she is dating a hot guy. No, we are not here to talk about that. Well, we can talk about that, of course, but it's not our topic. It's not our main topic. The speaking during the lesson should be associated with learning something. Speaking just for the sake of speaking comes after the lesson, in the break, or when we meet, for example, if you and your student live nearby and you meet in the city center when you're buying some beer or whatever. Yeah, we can talk about that because it's not a lesson, it's just an informal meeting. So they should be aware that it's not only about speaking, there is much more. The next point is, when in the lesson, when we are speaking with a student, it's important to pay attention to this point. When the student says, I need your feedbacks, or when they say, I must to go to work, or I must to speak, or I should to speak English well, or if I will speak good English, I will blah blah blah. These are just examples. Now, if I don't tell them, hold on, we got a problem here, what you said or what you just said was wrong. If I don't do that, I would be considered as a person who is not doing his duty. If I don't stop them and I tell them, no, we don't say feedbacks, we say feedback. We don't say, I must to speak English well, or I should to speak English well. We say, I must speak English well, or I should speak English well. If I don't tell them that in conditional sentences we don't choose if and the model in the first part of the sentence, at least will and would, if I don't tell them that, I wouldn't be, or I won't be, doing my duty. I'll be just having a coffee talk with my friend or my neighbor, and that's it. So it's my duty to tell them we got a problem. And not only that, it's not enough to tell them that there is a problem here. Yeah, of course, we use the delayed correction. Yeah, I'm aware of that. But first, we must draw their attention to the problem they have. Not only that, I must show them and explain to them why what they said was wrong, why what they said wasn't considered grammatically correct. Because if I just give them the answers, I just tell them that, okay, this sentence was right, or this sentence was wrong, this is the right version. Oh, okay, thank you. And then, how to use the new information in shaping or in producing a better language or a more correct language. Now, some students say, yeah, we don't like to feel as if we are at school. We don't like the grammar. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're here to study. You're paying money to study the language, to know what's right and what's wrong. If you're here just to speak, sorry, I'm not here to do that. Only that. If you just want to speak, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go anywhere you want. There are millions and millions of people around the world. Most of them speak English. You can speak English with them. You can talk to them. You can do many things. All for free. Yeah, you pay for internet connection. Yeah, of course. But, it's once a month, not once every lesson. So, we should explain to them that whenever you make a mistake, we must tell you that there is a mistake and we must explain to you why it's a mistake. Now, how to explain? It's something depends on each teacher, but we must do that. The next point is that after the very first lesson, a lot of teachers lose the project because the students report the feedback to the boss and the teacher ends up losing the project. Now, from my point of view, the teachers should be given the chance, at least 1 or 2 lessons, to show if they really listened to the students. Did they make good use of the students' feedback? Did they arrange or prepare the lesson in a way that satisfies the students? And of course, satisfying the students isn't, it's not something we should do 100%. But we must be given the chance, or the teachers must be given the chance to show, or at least to show to the student that the students' words are heard, and the teachers doing everything they can to comfort them, to provide them with what they need the way they like. And that leads us to the next point, which doesn't mean that we should follow everything the students say. Doesn't mean that everything the students tell us should necessarily be used during the lesson regarding the methodology, regarding the material, etc. The answer is easy. No, we shouldn't do that. We mustn't do that. Because we are teachers, we know from our experience, we know what's good and what's bad. The teachers are here to listen to us. But as experienced teachers, we can use some of the feedback given by the students to make some changes to our lessons without making them look boring. And in that case, the students would think that, yes, the teacher listened to us, and the teacher isn't doing something which is boring for us. And so, as teachers, we will be able to do what we have practiced, to do what we have experienced, to use our experience in the previous years in the lesson. So, that's what I wanted to say. I really believe that everything should be clear from the very beginning. Everything should be clear for the students and for the teachers and for language courses, because as I said before, what we are actually doing is not 100% perfect, and it will never be 100% perfect. But at least we try. We try to change things. We try to find one minus here, one minus there, and then we try to work on these points. And so I really hope that one day we will reach, or teachers in all courses, because in some courses, yes, they are, in other courses, no. Teachers in all courses are given the chance to be treated as people who have a sound, who have an opinion, who deserve a second chance. Not once fallen, forever fallen. So that's what I wanted to say. These were the points I wanted to point out. I hope one day our word will be heard. And if you have some stories to share, some comments to write, don't hesitate to do so in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching, and see you later.